What's good, y'all? I'm Dr. Trehunna. Now, today, what I'm gonna break down to you is why food order matters. All right. So, if you're one of my clients, you already know that I emphasize prioritizing protein, right? But then I also tell my clients that carbs come last. So, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all scientific details as to if you're somebody that's dealing with hypertension, which is high blood pressure, you have high glucose levels, or you're pre-diabetic, or you're just somebody who wants to lose weight, why you should always have your carbs last when you're having a meal. All right. Now, first things first, there's new studies that's coming out that's saying that if somebody decides to have, let's say, some bread and some orange juice, but then some proteins and vegetables after they have some bread and orange juice, kind of like when you're at a restaurant, what's the very first thing that they serve to you? Bread, right? Bread and butter. And let's say the very next group decides to have the proteins and vegetables first, but then have the exact same bread and orange juice to the exact same amount of quantity. Believe it or not, the first group glucose levels is way higher, which means what? If your glucose levels is higher, that means your body's producing more insulin. If your body's producing more insulin, you're giving your body less opportunity to tap into a stored body fat. All right. So that is the main reason why overall I teach my clients to ultimately make sure you're having a better version of carbs. I'm gonna go ahead and break it down to you right now. All right. So first things first. When you have some carbs or when you have some protein, your body's gonna break it down the exact same way. It's gonna create glucose from these two macronutrients. Carbs, when it breaks down, the human body don't know the difference between carbs and sugar, so it all breaks down the exact same way to glucose, right? Now, it takes your body a lot more energy to break down protein into glucose, So majority of the time, because protein has a thermogenic effect to it, which means what? It kind of speeds up your metabolism because it takes your body so much energy to break it down. You're kind of somewhat in a less of a net surplus than if you give your body carbs. So when you give your body 1,000 calories worth of carbs, technically your body's gonna receive 1,000 calories, period. If you give your body 1,000 calories worth of protein, because it takes your body so much energy to break it down, you're probably only getting about 800 to 850 calories of protein. So that extra 150 calories you ate, and it literally doesn't do anything when it comes to the net surplus of how much you eat throughout the entire day. That's why overall I tell my clients to prioritize protein, because the more protein you give your body, the more times you're speeding your metabolism up. And because protein keeps you full the longest, you're getting more bang for your buck than versus you just going ahead and have some ice cream or go ahead and have some salad with a whole lot of dressing in it. All right. But also what carbs do in the human body, it makes your body's glucose levels go up. Now, is this a bad thing here and there? No, not at all. Okay, so I'm not telling y'all to never have carbs ever again in a day in your life. I am not a carb hater. Believe it or not, I just had some carbs 2 hours ago. I had some low carb tortillas, right? But what I am telling you is if you continue to keep spiking your glucose levels up, right, then your body's gonna start to become insulin resistant. And when your body becomes insulin resistant, what happens is now your body is not even listening to the signal to, hey, we need to store this glucose. Because at the end of the day, when glucose is just running rampant in your body, it's going to start corroding your arteries. It's literally going to start damaging your arteries, all right? So your body wants to, once it starts seeing your glucose levels start peaking and going higher, it wants to go ahead and put in your muscles, your liver, your everywhere in your body. Long story short, it wants to get it out the bloodstream, So when you give your body first thing in the morning, such as that muffin, or when you're first at a restaurant and the very first thing they give you is that bread and you're eating that bread, ironically what happens is it's gonna spike your glucose way higher versus if you decide to have that bread along with the protein. Okay, so one thing I never want you to do is have carbs straight up by itself, which is that muffin, which is that Starbucks with the sugar and the fudge and the caramel and the creamer, etc. Because it's literally nothing but sugar. It's gonna literally exacerbate how much glucose is in your body, which means then insulin is gonna cause more insulin to be produced in your body. It's gonna bring it down, but now you become hypoglycemic, which means what? Now you're getting hangry, now you're getting irritable, and for some odd reason, if you would have never had that coffee in the first place or that muffin in the first place, you wouldn't have been hungry. Why? Because your glucose levels are stabilized. But because now your glucose levels are erratic, now you're looking for food. Now you're foraging for food. Now you're looking at that Starbucks. Now you're looking at that Subway, and you never get the cookies at the end of the Subway line. And now you're like, You know what? 1 or 2 cookies won't hurt, but that's because your glucose levels are erratic. Your body and your brain, your hypothalamus to be exact, is thinking that it's starving. All right. So one thing I always tell my clients to do to prioritize protein, but prioritize protein don't mean just have a plate full of meat. What I'm talking about is, let's say you do go out with your family. Let's say we all go to a Mexican restaurant and we get some fajitas, which comes with what? Rice, beans, tortillas. What I would tell you to do is make sure you eat the protein first. So you have your fajitas with the tortilla first. Why? Because now you're having the protein with a carb. That's cool. You're not just having a straight carb. Versus the average person, when you go to a Mexican restaurant, you're having them chips and queso first. You're eating a lot of chips, you're eating a lot of queso, you're having a lot of margaritas, right? And now your glucose levels is through the roof. So that is not conducive if you're somebody that's already dealing with hypertension or pre-diabetic, or if you're somebody that wants to lose weight. So if you're somebody that wants to go ahead and lose weight and get into better metabolic health, what I want you to do is, let's say you go to that restaurant or you're getting a burger and fries from the drive-thru at McDonald's or from Chick-fil-A, you're getting the waffle fries with the chicken sandwich. Don't be the dude that is driving home and is crushing the waffle fries to the point once you get home, you have no fries left. What I want you to do is, once you get home, eat the sandwich first. Then after you have the sandwich, go ahead and have the waffle fries. Or after you have the fajitas, go ahead and have the rice and beans. Because one thing you're going to realize is you're probably not even going to have enough room to eat that rice and beans. And now your glucose levels are more stable. And that is what you want when it comes to overall metabolic health, especially if you're somebody that's dealing with pre-diabetes, which means you're somewhat insulin resistant, or you're somebody that got high blood pressure, which means you're somewhat insulin resistant. It's literally that simple, okay? So these are the things I want you to incorporate. If you're somebody that wants to lose weight, never have your carbs first. Carbs come last. Eat something with some protein and fat first, then have your carbs. Cool? Hopefully y'all learned something today, and that's your reset tip of the day that's going to help you stay snatched all the time. Know it's summertime. Talk to y'all soon.